Hey guys, so I'm without a tripod today because it's kind of co-owned by my dad who uses it on his boat, which kind of indicates to me that I need to get another one. So I'm actually holding you at the moment, but I really wanted to film today, so I hope you don't mind if it shakes a little bit. So what I wanted to do today was do another Is It Light Enough video in the series, and today I'm doing it on the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. This is the lightest shade of 24. I wrote down notes. Lightest of 24, so this is shade 01 Pale. Now this retailed for $17.99, so $18. And there's 0.5 fluid ounces, which is actually half of a regular foundation. So one full fluid ounce would actually be about $36, which is actually pretty expensive considering this is a drugstore line. When you think about it, a Kat Von D foundation is about $41 for 1 fluid ounce, and that's only a few dollars more. So, you know, just something to think about. This is a water and silicone based foundation, just judging by the ingredients. The first ingredient is something really ridiculous sounding, cyclopentasiloxane, or siloxane, sorry, and then water and glycerin, then a bunch of cross polymers and dimethicones, which dimethicone is a silicone, and it's found in a lot of different primers. Which, by the way, I did prime my face with the Wet n Wild because that is a water and dimethicone-based primer, so that should pair really well with this. It is oil-free, and on the box it says, with just a few drops, our Total Control Drop Foundation delivers sheer to full coverage in a velvety matte finish. So, may not be best for people with really dry skin, we'll see. Simply adjust the number of drops you use until the desired level of coverage is achieved. More drops equals more coverage. And it says 2+ drops for light coverage, 3+ drops for medium coverage, and 4+ drops for full coverage. I don't think 2 drops could cover your entire face. I don't even think 4 drops could cover an entire face. But we're going to see. So this is what the bottle looks like. It's described as a white yellow ivory. So I'm not super yellow. You can probably tell I'm not very yellow. So hopefully this works out okay. And it says to shake well. So we're going to shake well, and it's a very liquidy foundation. I have watched videos on this, and I did swatch this, and it's a dropper foundation. Just a little bit of background on my skin. As you can see, very light. I have some small spots, nothing major. I have larger pores in this area here. I have scar here, which if you go on my Instagram, I posted about it yesterday, how I got it. Dark circles. My skin's fairly normal right now. It was really dry in the winter. I don't know if that'll happen again this winter, hopefully not. I'm hoping that my skincare routine is part of the reason why it's been doing better and not just that it's humid. And for application, I'm going to be using a sponge on this side of my face. I only have a baby sponge, but you know, it'll do. And on the other side of my face, I'm going to be using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. Now this is going to be awkward. Because I'm holding you. I'm actually going to put this on the inside of my wrist. and kind of take it off of there and start dabbing it on this side of my face with a sponge. Like, I'm not sure how much I'm going to need, you know? I might just look in the mirror up here instead of in the camera. I'm not going to put it directly underneath my eyes, just because I'm going to put concealer there instead. Obviously a bigger sponge would be ideal, but because I don't normally wear foundation, I just grab the smaller sponges. And it is looking a little yellow, as I suspected. It's such a thin formula, though, that it does blend out. And I don't think it's going to look that bad, but I suspect that if I were to build it up quite a bit, I'd notice it more. I think it's clinging a little bit around my nose, but not too bad. And it's not completely covering the redness on my pimples, but that's okay. I wasn't really expecting it to. So that's one very small layer on that side of my face with a sponge. And I'll do the same thing on the other side of my face. The brush. Try and get the same amount if I can. Because it is so liquidy, it's kind of hard to control the amount. It basically comes out like tinted water. I'd show you, but kind of can't right now. I think I had a little bit more on the other side, so. Right away, I do not like that with a brush. On my nose here, on this side. I don't like that. Yeah, it's looking much drier on this side with the brush. And so that's that side. Same amount, roughly, with a brush. And you can see that it didn't blend quite as well. I prefer the side with the sponge, personally. We'll see if we can build it up a little bit more on each side with the sponge. Just on some areas where I'm still a little bit red. And maybe we'll blend a little bit down the neck. This is a wet sponge, by the way. I know a lot of people on YouTube seem to think that everybody uses a dry sponge just because they never see anybody wet them, but trust me, it's wet. I really don't know how anybody could get away with using 2 drops for the entire face. That just seems weird to me that they would say that. I know there is a brush that you can purchase to go along with this. It has kind of like a little dip in the center that you're supposed to place the product. A lot of people who received this in PR, they got the brush along with the product. But a lot of people didn't like the brush. So, I mean, it's just a brush. I don't know that that really made much of a difference, to be honest. Looks about the same to me. I don't think that the yellowness is horrible. It's a little bit noticeable, but it could be a lot worse. The forehead looks a little cakey, a little bit cakey around the nose. I do think if my skin was really dry, like winter dry, it wouldn't like this. So that is something to keep in mind if you have dry skin. I think that this would cling a lot to your dry patches. Oily skin would probably be okay, and normal skin, like my skin's fairly normal right now, I think that's fine too. I am going to be actually checking in later in the day to see how this wore, to see if it gets even worse, even cakier throughout the day. So it is 11 o'clock right now, and I will be back probably around 6 or 7 in the evening. And I will see you then, and hopefully this doesn't look too bad. Alright, it's about 7 o'clock now. I'm in different lighting. I figured natural lighting earlier, and now we're in bathroom lighting, artificial lighting. So this has been on for about 8 hours, and it's not looking terrible, but I mean 8 hours is quite a while. I've noticed some weirdness around the upper lip area here that happened actually not long after I applied it. I don't know if you can see that. Not really sure what that is. I think it's just kind of like breaking apart up there. And it completely wore away around here when I was wiping off my lipstick. And it's worn away a little bit on my nose because I was blowing my nose. I have allergies. I blow my nose quite a bit. On the forehead, I think it is actually looking a little bit better up there than what it was earlier. I think maybe it needed some time to warm up to my skin. It looks fine everywhere else, I think. But I feel like it also kind of looks like I'm not wearing anything, which, I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because I don't want it to look like I'm wearing anything, but I also want it to have covered more than what it did, especially because I put on 2 layers. And I don't think it looks like I have any more coverage than what I normally look like I'm wearing with just concealer and powder. And for the record, I did put a little bit of concealer on my little pimples, a little bit under the eyes, and a little bit right here. And I set with the E.l.f. HD loose powder under the eyes and a little bit here and here. So my thoughts on this, I guess I would say it doesn't really offer a lot of coverage. It wore well. The color is good. I was expecting it to look off because it is really yellow, but as you can see in both the natural lighting and now here, I think it looks fine. It's definitely light enough. If you're any more cool undertone than I am, you may have trouble, and if you're any darker than I am, you're probably going to need to mix it with something or go up a shade. That is a huge plus to this foundation, is that there are 24 shades and it does go very, very light and very, very deep. I can link to some videos below if you'd like to look at the darker shade selection. I know of a few. So that's about it. So thanks so much for watching, and in my next video I'm going to have a very special guest, so stay tuned.